Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here is my WrestleMania 41 predictions. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win, why I think they're going to win, and some extras that might end up happening. I did a quick run through on my TikTok page. I'll put it somewhere in the video. But, yeah, so there's a good chance that you probably came from this. But again, I'm not 100% sure. The algorithms are completely different. But anyways, these are my predictions. This is more of like a full rundown, I guess you could say. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Oh, and by the way, yes, this is my this is a custom made belt with the Smiley Nation, and yes, I'm wearing a red shirt with a smiley face. Almost kind of ripping off green shirt guy, funnily enough. But anyways, let's get right into it. Alright, first things first, let's talk about the War Raiders versus the New Day for the World Tag Team Champions. I'll be real with you, this match I am genuinely the least excited for. I'm not going to dive too much deep into this, but I am going to express some frustrations. First things first, why does this match why is this match on WrestleMania but not the SmackDown side of the tag team division, you know? And second of all, this has no build, while the tag team on the SmackDown side has a really good build. So I don't understand that bullshit logic right there. I mean, don't get me wrong. These guys are talented, and I'm sure they would put on a pretty good match. But how do you put these guys on the WrestleMania card, but not the SmackDown side? That just makes no sense. But anyways, I'm gonna go with the New Day on this one. The only other way I could see them losing would be if Big E ends up ultimately returning, which, frankly, I don't really see him returning anytime soon because, well, he's been out of action for, hell, it's been, 3, 4 years? It's been a long time. So, I really don't know. But I am going to go with the New Day here. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but yeah, the New Day. I'm not a big fan of this heel run of the New Day. All right, next up, let's talk about Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Like I said, this could go one of two ways. This either Jade's gonna end up squashing Naomi, or Naomi's gonna somewhat use dirty tactics to beat Jade. And it would solidify her as a heel. Don't get me wrong. I do think Jade's gonna. I do think Jade's gonna end up winning, whether she is going to squash her or or they have somewhat a decent 10-minute match or something like that. Yeah, Jade's gonna win. Um, I think they're gonna build Jade up to be this absolute badass because I think she will eventually have a match with Bianca Belair. Um, just a matter of when, you know. Next, let's talk about the two greatest luchadors on the planet. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. And let's face it here, it is absolutely criminal that Chad Gable is not on the WrestleMania card. Because let's face it, Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable would have been great. But if you ask me, El Grande Americano versus Chad Gable would have been a 5-star classic. I mean, screw Penta being a close second to Rey Mysterio. If anything, Rey Mysterio is a close second to El Grande Americano. But, yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, I think Rey is going to win. And I think he is going to ultimately unmask El Grande Americano. Now, as far as if it's actually going to be someone completely different who's not Chad Gable, I think it would be hilarious. And they can do that too. It's very possible they could. Um, but yeah, I think Rey Mysterio is going to win, and El Grande Americano is going to end up being unmasked. I'm really excited for this match. All right, next up we got LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. I think ultimately Jacob Fatu is going to win unless Solo interferes in some way, shape, or form, whether it's on purpose or whether it's on accident. I've said ever since Jacob Fatu was Ever since Jacob Fatu debut, he's gonna win a title within the next year. And let's face it, it's around that time that he needs gold around his waist. I mean, yeah, he had the tag team titles for like what 2 weeks until he relinquished them to Tongaloa. But let's face it, he needs a singles title, and this right here would solidify him as an absolute monster. And it would actually make the U.S. title somewhat relevant, because in my humble opinion, LA Knight has not really done anything with it. And this is coming from someone who thinks LA Knight is overrated. So I'm not the biggest LA Knight fan. But either way, I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu on this. I mean, I understand he's got to lose eventually, so he could lose here. And like LA Knight could be the one to pin Jacob Fatu. Because like I said, Jacob Fatu's got to lose eventually. Just he doesn't have to lose right now. Give him a good streak, why don't you? All right, next up we've got Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. This feud right here has gotten quite personal, if you ask me. With Flair saying something to Stratton about Kaiser being in her TMs, which I think was just. I think it was a desperation shot. And Flair's been getting a lot of heat from that, funnily enough. But I mean, that's like really the only thing that the feud has really done that has actually made it good. Everything else just nothing else has been done besides the actual like attack. As far as who's gonna win, I think Flair is going to ultimately end up picking the win. As much as it pains me to say it, because I really hope Tiffany Stratton does end up winning. I mean, it would be the biggest win of her career by far, but a lot of people are saying she's not gonna win. So I'm gonna have to go with Flair, but I hope I'm wrong. I mean, let's face it, Flair's a nepotism hire. She really is. She's not. She's got some good matches in there. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, she's a nepotism hire. I'm gonna go with Flair with this, but I'm not happy saying that. All right, next up we've got Gunther versus Jey Uso. Now here's the thing: considering that Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, he's got to win here. If I'm I don't think I've seen a single guy actually think Gunther is going to win. Um, I mean, think of it like last year when Gunther fought Sami Zayn. Like, he kept beating him up and he got too cocky, and Sami Zayn ended up overcoming the odds because Gunther was getting cocky. I could kind of see this happening here, you know. Um, I do think Jey Uso is going to ultimately win. I mean, let's face it, he deserves it. He deserves it. And the feud going into this has not particularly been great, except for when Gunther was literally in a bloodbath with Jimmy Uso, which, dude, that's fucking crazy. Hell, I could honestly see Jimmy Uso being at Mania to support Jay, It would be a good moment. But like I said, at the end of the day, Jey Uso's winning this, and if he doesn't end up winning this, you're gonna have a lot of people pissed off, and it's gonna come to the point where you're probably just gonna have to let Jey Uso go. All right, and now we got the main event of night one. We got Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. This right here, I would say, is the most unpredictable match of the card. Um, I'm really excited for this one. This one, it's going to be a banger for sure. And there's nothing on the line. It's just pretty much here to prove who's the best of the best. The one that I could see the least likely winning would probably be Roman Reigns. I don't know why. I feel like if anything, he's just going to be there to kind of take the pin. Um, Seth Rollins, I mean, you got that stuff with Seth Rollins wanting Paul Heyman to give him a favor, and there's always the chance that Paul Heyman could join Seth Rollins. I don't know. I don't necessarily think Seth Rollins needs Paul Heyman. I mean, let's face it. Of all these guys, I would say Roman Reigns probably would need Paul Heyman the most. Because Paul he's a manager. But if I were to pick, I am going to go with CM Punk on this. And the only reason why I'm going with Punk is simply because this is his first WrestleMania main event. Are they really going to make him lose it, especially considering the fact that he's been craving this for over 10 years? I don't think CM Punk's going to lose. So I am going to ultimately go with CM Punk going for the win, and then he's going to pin Roman Reigns, and I could see maybe later down the line we get Roman versus Punk, which, I mean, let's face it, that's another match that we need right there. Now we're on to night 2. So we got the women's tag match with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. I'm not going to dive too deep into this one either, because this one I kind of just could care less about. I'm going to go with Liv and Raquel retaining, and I could see some cracks forming with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria's friendship. I could see this kind of being like a turning point to get Bayley to turn heel. But yeah, I'm not going to dive too deep into this. Liv and Raquel's retaining. Next up, we've got Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight. I'll admit, Drew McIntyre should be going off to doing bigger and better things. I understand, like, the main title picture is so stacked right now, so that's probably why he's in the position he's in right now. I mean, same with Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre, I would say, is by far the bigger star. But I am ultimately going to go with Drew McIntyre in this one, mainly because he really needs to win. Damian Priest doesn't particularly need the win. It's Drew needs it. If Damian Priest ends up beating Drew McIntyre, then Drew McIntyre's, like, he's not buried yet, but he's getting close. Because he keeps losing to roll-ups. The feud overall has actually been a lot better as of late. Because, you know, it's been getting, like, violent into, like, backstage brawls. And, you know, Damian Priest chokeslamming Drew McIntyre on real glass. If you know what I'm saying. But, yeah. I'm looking forward to this match. Alright, minus the tag team match with the War Raiders and the New Day, I would say this match right here is probably the worst, like, booked, you know. So we got AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I'm expecting this match to be really good. My only issue with it is just they have not done a great job booking this match at all. And I think it's mainly because Logan Paul has not been there as much. And I understand he's part-time. Usually, every year in a Logan Paul match, someone always comes out in a prime bottle. A couple years ago, it was KSI. Last year, it was IShow Speed. I think this year, you can make a really, really good contender for it either being Mr. Beast or Kai Cenat. I would say more so it being Mr. Beast. Mainly because of, you know, like Lunchley and all that. But, yeah. I think at the end of the day, though, AJ Styles is going to end up being the one to pick up the victory. But yeah, AJ Styles, he's just too damn good. Alright, next up, we have got the Fatal 4-Way match for the Intercontinental title between Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Now, here's the thing. This is pretty much a win-win for all of us. Like, any one of these guys could win, and we would be happy with it at the end of the day. I really want Penta to win. I don't think he is going to win. The person I think is going to win is Dominic Mysterio. I think he is going to weasel his way into it somehow, some way, and I think he's going to end up pinning Finn Balor. Because let's face it, Braun Breaker doesn't need to be pinned right now. Neither does Penta. They're both too protected to be pinned. But I think Dominic Mysterio is going to end up weaseling his way into winning the match. And I would say this right here would probably be the best match of night 2. They've done a pretty damn good job with booking it. Alright, before we get into the last 2 matches, now we got Randy Orton's opponent. Unfortunately, Kevin Owens cannot compete at WrestleMania because he's got a serious neck injury that could put him out for roughly around 2 to 5 years. Um, Best of luck to Kevin Owens, of course. Wish him the best in his recovery. It's not going to be an easy one for him, I'm sure. But Randy Orton needs an opponent. I can think of one of two guys. You can make an argument for Nick Aldis, which, I mean, that's obvious. Nick Aldis has been in matches before. And then you can also make the argument, and I'm also seeing some things that it is going to actually end up being Rusev, which if that's the case, that would be pretty cool, and it'd be a good way to introduce him back into a WWE. I think ultimately it's going to be Nick Aldis. I think they're going to save Rusev for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and they're going to make him win that. I think it's ultimately going to be Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis because there's actually a story there. There's nothing there for Randy Orton versus Rusev, and another reason why is because Nick Aldis can afford a loss. Randy Orton really needs a PLE win. Pretty much, he hasn't had one ever since he returned back in War Games. Pretty much the same night CM Punk returned. But yeah, he needs this. He deserves it. He really does. Alright, next up we've got the triple threat match on the women's side. We got Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. They have done a hell of a good job building this. They really have. I understand you got Rhea and Bianca, the two bigger stars, and Io's the third wheel. That's always unfortunate, especially when the third wheel is the champion. We've seen that a couple times with Bianca, Charlotte, and Asuka. Io's been in it as well before, with, Bianca and Charlotte, overshadowing her. But for once, it seems like the three are actually somewhat even. I will say this, though. I do not see Rhea winning. She's like the one person I do not see winning. If anyone's going to win, I would say it's most likely going to be Bianca. And that kind of sucks because it would be a disservice to Io because she literally just won the title a couple months ago. But the reason why I'm saying Bianca is so that she can hold it on till pretty much, I would say, SummerSlam, so she could have that big money match with Jade Cargill. And then she could end up losing to Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill would be a singles champion. And I think Jade would have a lengthy run. Like, almost like, I would say Gunther's IC title reign long. I could see it being really long. But, yeah, I am going with Bianca on this one. You could make a good case for Io. As much as I love Rhea Ripley, I don't see her winning. It's either going to be Io or Bianca at the end of the day, but I'm more so leaning on Bianca. And last but not least, we got the main event of night 2, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. I do not see Cody Rhodes walking out with the title. I think John Cena is going to make history. I think he's going to break Flair's record. He's going to get number 17. Like him, love him, hate him, he deserves it. I can definitely see there being a lot of shenanigans. As I could see Travis Scott being there, obviously. And I think he's going to get a nasty receipt from Cody Rhodes for what he did to his ear. I can also see The Rock being there. And another thing, Stone Cold Steve Austin's meant to be in Las Vegas. So there's a good chance they could have a little moment, if you know what I'm saying. Which, that would be fire. But at the end of the day, John Cena is going to win. I think how he's going to win, he's going to use every heel tactic possible that he didn't use when he was a babyface, and he's going to use those to his advantage to pick up the win. Alright, that's it. Before I leave this video, I just want to make a quick little announcement, I suppose. Not really an announcement, but I guess you could consider it one. But anywho, during WrestleMania weekend, I'm going to try something that, I've tried, like, recording my reactions to, but it just never seemed to work. I'm going to try and live stream my reactions for WrestleMania 41. It'll be both nights. It's either gonna. I don't think I'm gonna. I said I was gonna do it on Twitch on the TikTok shorts that I did. I said that was gonna be one of the options, but I don't think that's gonna be the case. It's either gonna be on YouTube or it is going to be on TikTok. Either if it's on one, I will let the other one know so that we'll get that straightened out. But either way, I'm going to make an attempt on it. I cannot guarantee it, but the thing is with I'm trying to figure out how to get TikTok live, and it's not easy. So it'll most likely probably be on YouTube. Um, but either way, I mean that's me done really. Um, that's my predictions. I'm really looking forward to WrestleMania 41. And I know this one was kind of rushed. I apologize. It's late at night right now, and honestly, I want to get to bed because I have work the next day. But I mean, it is what it is. But with that being said, I will see you guys later. See you guys at WrestleMania. See ya.